Hiya, everybody. How are we doing? We're back again. Trying to get some consistency up in here. Let's go. How are you guys? We are live. We are painting Commissar Graves still. But we did do In Transia Fray. It just takes a little bit longer than one anticipated to do these things. But that is what is going to happen when it's 6 infantry models and a tank. Or a vehicle, as it were. So there's a lot of stuff to get on with. But as you can see here, we've actually done the vehicle. So the vehicle part, the vehicle aspect of things is finished. So there we go. So there's the vehicle. That's all done. Looking fantastic, even if I do say so myself. It's just the infantry there. Oh my god. Oh my. You died. This is a ghost. A ghost who's gifting 50 Warhipster gifted memberships right off the bat. We're not even 4 minutes in, brother. That's a very generous ghost you have there. Well, thank you so much, buddy. How are you doing other than the fact that you've died? Unfinished business? Is it finishing all of your miniatures? Mark, thank you for being a member for 57 months. Good afternoon to you too. And Fake Street Spirit, thank you for being a member for 27 months. Happy bank holiday to you as well. Oh, wow. Thank you so much. I have moose hair to highlight, so I'm screwed. You'll be fine. You can do it. Just take it really steadily. Just one tiny little bit at a time. Just one... Even if you do one stroke a day. One brush stroke a day. You'll be fine, my brother. Alternatively, you could always stipple it. Stippling, instead of highlighting it, stippling would also give a really nice effect if you did a really gentle stipple. And that would be a lot easier than doing the lines. You thought about trying that? Testing that? Have you got any spare horses to test that on? What a power move. A power move indeed. Hello to you from the UK and New Zealand. So this is where we're up to on the passengers. So we're quite a long way off in these, but we've got most of the... There's 2 base coats left to go on 5 of them, and then we're going to do the flag at the end. The flag is the last thing that we do. With a $200 super chat. Name is not long enough to be not annoying, because he's not annoying. He's beautiful. I appreciate you clarifying what type of stroke I should apply to my mini. And no, I'm not stippling. That would be not following the tutorial. That's fair. The tutorials are more like guidelines. They're not verbatim. You don't have to take them as verbatim. Hello, Ventura Chris. It's not long enough to be not annoying. So it's not annoying, right? It's not annoying at all. You're not annoying. You're wonderful. Are there really this many people on Graves' truck? Yes, there are. So that is the version on foot. So there is this many people on Graves' truck. There's 5 on the truck, and then this is the individual version that is meant to be on its own base. So that's just the individual character. So I suppose I should get on with it. Really, I'm gonna start off with something really simple. which is to apply Runelord Brass over the top of the bullets in the heavy stubber just there. So we'll just get that done. And then it's gold time. There's lots of gold. Actually, hold on. I might have lied to you there. Armageddon. Boo, 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 boo. So on the release article is where I usually uses my little, yeah, that. No, I think we can do those as gold. I think it makes sense to do those gold. Okay. So let's find. That's a Retributor armor. That's Liberator gold. That's Runelord Brass. That's the one. Ooh, that's a little bit too much. We don't need a whole lot of Runelord Brass here. We're literally just applying this over the top of those bullets in the box mags. Alright, here we go. That button. And that button. With all that silver applied, we are then going to take some thinned down Runelord Brass and we're going to apply this over top of the bullets in the magazines on our two heavy stubbers. There we go. Real quick. These are odd MESBG minis, guessing they are dwarves. They're a little bit taller than dwarves. Just a smidge. These are from the little-known game, Middle-earth strategy battle games in space in the 41st millennium. Right, now I need Retributor armor. There's a lot of gold. So here we go. Alright. Here we go. Pause. Filming. That one. And for our final base coat for the crew, what we're going to do is we're going to take some thinned down Retributor armor and we're going to apply this over, well, pretty much all of the remaining details and any other kind of decoration that you want to pick out as gold. Now, one thing to point out here is, of course, that the large sort of eagles on the chests of the rest of the crew, they actually are still silver. But you can do them gold if you like. Boom. Right, I'm going to be applying gold for a while, I reckon. Because there is a lot of gold here. Scattered about the miniatures. Which is fun. It's always good when it's like that. So, you know, Either way. What are you guys working on at the moment? What exciting projects have you got on the go? I generally don't like doing a gold detailing phase whilst I'm live because it is just annoying tiny detail. But needs must, I'm afraid. For time is short. And it was either this or sit here and talk about something. I don't know. But I couldn't think of anything else. Anyway, let's have a look. The 40th age of Middle-earth with some Sigmar added on. Cool premise. Yeah, I know, right? Blistering hot take. I prefer foot graves to snow graves. I don't think that's a blistering hot take. I think that's a perfectly legitimate position to hold. You know? It's not for everyone, after all. Yeah, okay. Just checking in on the trim of the Power Fist. That is also gold. Because of course it is. Which means we have to go around the corner a little bit. There we go. Can't wait to see your tutorials for painting the Armageddon Orcs. Yeah. Well, if Games Workshop send them to me, you know I'll do some stuff. Where do you store all of your miniatures? Badly. In various nooks and crannies around the house. I missed you watch a long stream, but man, are us orc... my watch a long stream. I see, but us orc players are eating good. Good, I'm glad you're excited. You're working on 2 times Death Guard Defilers. Wow. That's pretty cool. That's a lot of defilement. Finishing up my Castigator night. Nice. Literally started Fulgrim last night. Finished up my Blade Guard, then on to Death Company Dreadnought. A set of Blood Reavers I've been working on and off on since December of 2024. Wow. That is a long time to be working on a set of Blood Reavers. Then again, I've got a bunch of model sets that are like that. My copy of my plastic Elrond was like that for a very long time, because I lost the footage and I couldn't figure out a way to make it work as a video without like the first half of the model. Building some Free Guild Command Corps on my lunch. Nice. Just finished building the last miniature from my Leviathan set, but I don't think I'll be able to paint them all before Armageddon comes out. I believe in you. And if you don't want to, that's also fine. Dave's working on some Space Wolves. Nice. Sanguinor. Put him on a 50mm base with a big rock. It helps with the balance of the model. He always looks top heavy on a 40. Yeah, but that's because he's got that behold my stuff look. It also doesn't help that he's looking up. The old one wasn't looking up. He was looking forwards. He's looking up there in this one to make him look a little bit more angelic. You know? Which I don't dislike. I tell you what, though, I wasn't a fan of the Sanguinor being the exact same with a slightly minor difference in the head position pose than he was in his smaller variant. I think the interesting thing about the Blood Angels characters, right, is like everyone thought that at least at the time, a lot of people thought that the Lamatis one was amazing. It was fantastic. It was a beautiful model, and they are right. The reason being is that Lamati sculpt looks completely different to his old Lamati sculpt, whereas the Astarath one and the Sanguinor one are identical to how they were before. Like I said, with a minor difference in how in the positioning of the head. It's the same thing with the Assaman redo as well. Exactly the same model, just bigger. Which, as you know, I don't love. Oh, that's irritating. Where were we? Could have been some gold and red boys. Well, I could have painted some Blood Angels today. Or are you talking about those Easterlings that I don't have and haven't built? Tell us what's for dinner tonight. I actually don't know. Maybe some salmon? I'm not sure. We had hot dogs last night. It was glorious. I'm 45 to 50 minis for the Million Models Challenge. Today I've painted the Hellsmith's Underworld's Warband and the metal on the Underworld's Satyrs. Oh, right, yeah. Yes, I know the ones. I'm now painting Putrid Blight Kings after a while without painting. I like making non-existential problems with my painting, I guess. Yeah, I guess. Abaddon, I just finished priming Alarielle to do her and her big pet bug next, but my 8-year-old insisted Abaddon was next. Well, you got to do what the 8-year-old says. What brushes are you using, Josh? Thank you, Andy, for the 99p super chat. I'm using Ruby brushes. Is the brushes I'm using at the moment. But thank you very much for the super sticker. Did you mean to do a sad face? I didn't mean to make you sad. Currently on the Balthazar Gold trim. Oh my god, there's so much. Yes. Doing Kato Sicarius at the moment. Being a new dad is exhausting. Hard to find the time to paint for extended periods of time. Yeah, and I had a blow-by-blow account of that from Adam. Working on a new Nurgle Chaos Lord on Dragon converted out of a Maw Crusher from AOS. Ooh, that's nice. That sounds nice. Hello, Captain Manrings. I didn't get very far on Fulgrim because I didn't realise Leviathan Purple was way darker than Purple Swarm. It is a bit. Is Purple Swarm it's the darkest, most purple that is in contrast. Shaiish Purple is arguably darker, but it's much colder. It doesn't have that sort of that warmness to it. He is smiling in Polish. Fair enough. Will you share how to paint an Ash City terrain? I haven't painted it myself. If I am going to do it, I'll do it in like a live stream or something. Because... or I'll do it further down the line as part of a big terrain thing. Only because aside from Deathmaster Crixit, that City of Ash content wasn't very popular at all. And doing terrain is just going to be even less popular. So I want to get it done, but I don't know if I'm going to do a full video for it. It might be that we just do it on a live stream and leave that live stream public or something like that. I don't know. But I haven't actually got to it myself yet, so I don't know as and when I'm going to be able to do that. But if you've watched any of my older Cities of Sigmar videos, all of the... basically, what I would say is, if you check out my How to Paint the Ironworld Great Cannon video, that will give you everything you need to paint the terrain in that box. Because it's all the same stuff. Currently doing Fulgrim Transfigured, nearly at the gold step, hoping we'll take a big jump forward then. Wow. That model is by no means a walk in the park. So, my hat's off to you for doing it, sir. If those wings weren't as flimsy as they are, you could probably kill a man with that model. I recall it being a bit of a workout to paint. Right, is that all the gold on you? No. A little bit more. What we got left? 2 more. Yes. Marvellous. What colour workup would you recommended if I was theoretically painting Celebrimbor from Shadow of War / War before he fell to Sauron? I don't know. I haven't played that game in about 10 years. I don't know what he looks like. I'll have to Google it. So if you just wait until I've done all this gold, then I'll look it up. A truly irritating amount of gold. Okay. One more. GW isn't slowing down with these releases, so you'll not be painting the black coach anytime soon. Any other products you're looking forward to paint? I can't think about anything else at the moment, honestly. I'm just putting one foot in front of the other with everything that I've got on my plate at the moment. It's one of those things where it's like, if I let my head get in the clouds too much about other stuff, then I can't physically concentrate on what I am doing right now. Now, this is Inquisitor Graves, right? This went on pre-order a week ago, and I'm still painting it now. So I'm now like 8 days behind on where I really want to be, in terms of getting stuff finished. So the answer is no. I'm not looking forward to painting anything. It's very rare that I paint something for myself these days. I would like to get back to doing 20 minutes a day, but just right now it's like it's too much. It's too much extra stress. So that's on hold for a bit, whilst I just focus on the here and now. It's what happens when you have too many plans. which I verily do. Yeah, I did that. Right. Nearly there. Okay. A hat and a sword to go. Okay. That looks to be all the gold. Excellent. Big job done. Can I see what you're painting? Yeah, that's intentional. Because I can't do 37 minutes painting underneath the camera at arm's length. So I've been over this a million times before, but the setup that I have here is not conducive to filming, and it's not conducive to long streaming, right? Because my camera is here, the camera's there. I cannot get any closer to my desk, so when I paint on camera overhead, when I'm here, I am at arm's length doing this in order to be under the camera. I cannot do the fine motor skills for 37 minutes. Otherwise, I have to do this. And you can't see me or hear me or do anything. So I do it for a little bit. I can do it for a little bit, and also it just ruins my back and ruins my shoulders. So I do a little bit, and then do a little bit off camera so you can see me instead. Eventually, we'll have a proper setup where I can actually do stuff where you can be able to see for a long periods of time, but at the moment I just can't do it. I got my ruby brushes a couple of days ago. Thanks for trying them for us. I really like them, but only use the Angel and Pixie so far. Have you tried the dry brushes? No, I don't. I don't like round-headed brushes for me for dry brushing. Because they're not very precise, and it's a skill issue more than anything else. Right, what the hell do I Google for you? Name is long enough, not long enough to be annoying. Because if I just Google Celebrimbo, I'm going to get all the pictures from Rings of Power. Watched your vehicle video. Do you notice a difference between blue tack versus masking putty? If I'd ever used masking putty, I'm sure I would. Sent your reference image in Discord. Right. The lighter blue gloves is Spaceballs grey. The darker blue is probably just yeah, just Glorfindel, isn't it? Or if you want to simplify it, Gilgalad. The reason I didn't buy any masking putty for doing my vehicle is because blue tack, you can get a lot more of it for cheaper and it's reusable. Like I've used this blue tack for. I've used this exact blue tack for the Legion Fellblade, 2 Lehman Russ, the Baneblade, and those 4 vehicles that we did recently, and it's still perfectly fine. It'll be usable again. What would you highlight the Spaceballs grey with? I wouldn't. But if you want to highlight it, Blue Horror. Got here via your painting guide for the Sylvaneth Grove Guardian. Just wanted to say I thought the guide was really easy to follow and very helpful. Thank you. Hey, very welcome. Built up to Krebane over the weekend. They suck to build. How would you paint the tree trunks for those models? I don't know. What colour are they? Agrax Earthshade. Yeah, I mean, look, this is the same stuff. And like, you've still got some brown in there, but it's fine. Yeah, it's absolutely fine. It's all good. And like I said, like if you try and like every time I've ever looked at like, you know, proper modeling putty, You get one tiny little tub of it from Element for a tenner, by the looks of it. Whereas you can get 5 packs of blue tack for less than a tenner. You can get tons of it. That's why. That's why. Basically. Saving you money. And risk. I have a sinking feeling I've missed a bit. Yep. I missed a bit. Right. We fully wait for that to dry. And then it's time to shade. For which we are going to require a lot of Nuln Oil. This is quick fire questions with Josh. I guess that is what it is at the minute. If you're enjoying the stream, please do leave a like. There's 55 people watching. If we can get to 50 likes, that would be really good. Where is my... There it is. Where are my elephants? There. Nuln Oil. And we're also going to require Reichland Flush Shade for all the gold. Where is it? That's Nasdrag Yellow. We don't want that. Reichland Flush Shade. There you are. Right, just wait a couple more minutes for the gold to be dry, because we've got to do Nuln Oil on the silver. But if the gold's not dry, the Nuln Oil will hit the gold, and then the gold will start to dilute into the thing, and it'll give us sort of speckly thing over the top of the silver plate, which we don't want to do. You know, it's just one of those things. I'm going to look at the banner whilst we're waiting, because it looks like a pain. So I think what we're going to do for the banner is we're going to, because on the truck we did Nasdrag Yellow for the little flags at the front. So I think we're just going to continue with that. So we're going to use Nasdrag Yellow for all the sort of like the gold around it, the sort of the golden trim around the edges of the banner. But what we will do, because it's a bigger area, is we'll throw some Agrak Surf Shade over the top of it. As for the red's interesting because, again, on the model itself, we used Mephiston Red because we primed the tank in black to begin with. So I think we're just going to use Mephiston Red again, just for the sake of not then throwing an additional Baal Red followed by Blood Angels Red over the top. And then all we need to do is throw some Nuln Oil over the top of the white of the laurels, the skull, and the wings. And then I think maybe something like Space Wolves Grey over the top of the sort of the Graves bit and the other bit. I'm not 100% sure on that bit. Because it's one of those things. It's a slightly interesting because it's all non-metallic metal is what they've done. So I'm kind of trying to do a little bit more of that in recent times with like banners and stuff. And like I've realized that like Snakebite Leather is really good for that, as is Nasdrag Yellow. Nasdrag Yellow is really good for that. Wazdaka Gutsmech is one of those models you just want to paint, even if you have no interest in doing orcs like me. It is a beautiful model. It is, and it's massive as well. I think if they do new bikes to go with it, it will make it one of the best releases Games Workshop's ever done. If they don't do new bikes to go with it, it becomes a bit of a sort of like lame type thing that's going on at the minute. It'd be like if they'd released Lysander and they hadn't done Assault Terminators. So you're putting these gorgeous like Thunderhammer, Storm Shield character models with a bunch of stuff that's just so far away from where it needs to be. See what I mean? If you don't mind answering, how would you paint the Peasant Levy banner? Which one? What colour? For which colour scheme? I want to do a speed war so bad, and anything holding back are the old bikes. Exactly. Box art. There's 2 on the box art. Which one? Sorry, there's 2. For the bow variants, white and purple. Well, if I was going to be asinine, you've already nailed it. I'd paint it white and purple. Probably start with Dreadful Visage and then blend it through to some thinned down shyish purple. Probably. It's not a warm purple, that at all. That's how I would do it. Probably. Right. Let's get on with it, shall we? It's time for some Nuln Oil. You'd want to thin that shyish purple, like 2 parts Lamia medium to 1 part shyish purple. But there's no warmth in it. That's why you use shyish, but you thin the shyish because you don't want it to be dark. So with our metallics now all applied, what we're going to do next is we're going to take some Nuln Oil and we're going to apply this over top of all of the black details, excluding the rest of the crew's trousers. We're just going to leave those as neat black Legion for now, so it creates a little bit of separation between their boots and the rest of the black details. And we're going to apply this Nuln Oil over the top of all the silver as well. And then uniquely to Graves, we're going to apply the Nuln Oil over the top of the fur of her coat. Boom. See you in a bit. The Mini Creative with the $5 super chat. Thank you very much. Hey, Josh. Just dropped some support and a like. Got too many meetings today to listen along. I'll catch the playback. Wishing you the best. Oh, thank you very much. Wishing you the best as well. Hope you're well. And Yamil Gonzalez as well. Thank you very much for the $5 super chat. Thanks, Josh, for the answer. I do enjoy all your videos. Oh, you're very welcome, sir. I'm sorry there aren't more Cathay ones. But as you know, I don't have the models. Nor the time. Maybe someday. Eventually. It's one of those things, right? It's like, as you know, I've long wanted to add, like, battle report content and talking about sort of using these things on the tabletop. I really wanted to do that for a very long time. But we haven't had the space to do it. And hopefully in the new place, we will have space to do it. But until we get there, it's like, I just don't have the, you know, space and capacity to be able to do stuff in order to accommodate doing that, if you see what I mean. So it's like, at the moment, it's just like, I mean, I'll eventually, of course, one of the things I would like to do is to do a video where I do paint the rest of a Cathay army in order for me to be able to play the old world. But right now, it's like, well, if I do that, like, there's no point at the moment. Especially when things are coming as thick and fast as they are at the moment from Games Workshop with all the new stuff that's going on. So it's like, well, we put that stuff on the back burner for now. But eventually, when that does happen, we can then be like, right, what do we need in order to be able to do the old world content properly and do it justice? We need ravening hordes, and we need, you know, the forces of fantasy armies, and we need at least 4 of those. So we need to just at least buy it, get it built, and get it started, you know. Start making content that's about that, rather than just, you know, making content that is sort of the generic, more like just how to paint stuff that we do at the moment. Which I love making that stuff, and I don't ever want to stop doing it, but it's like we want to add, like, I've always said it, that more kind of experiential, that more like real world application, for lack of a better term, of your hobby. Like doing, I built a Dark Eldar army. Here's how I did it. And it's just a video about that also is a how to paint, but it's just, here's what I did, here's why I did it, and here's it in action. You know, it's all that kind of thing. It's just the full picture. But we just simply don't have the capacity to do it right now. Which is really sad and annoying. Get some more people working on the channel as well. You know, that would be good. Name is long enough not to be annoying. Some of us will continue to bribe with conflicting priorities, so that is confusing. That's very kind of you. Thank you very much. Is that a bribe that says do the Cathay, basically? Is that the conflicting priority? Or is that an MESBG related bribe? Or is that just the general thing today? How do you prevent hobby burnout? Once I know, I'll tell you. I think I've been burnt out since 2024. The crucial thing to remember is this isn't your job, so you don't have to do it. So you can do it whenever you like. And remember, there's no requirement that you have to do it. You're not... The best advice I can give you is remember that nothing is reliant on you doing this other than your own enjoyment. So if you don't want to do it, there is no judgment for not doing it at all. And anybody who does judge you for not doing it, they're not supporting you correctly. So take some time away from it. Do something else. If you want to stay in touch with Warhammer, pick something Warhammer adjacent. You know, watch some content, play some games. You know, do all that kind of thing. The best thing to remember, like, ultimately is hobby burnout, I think, happens when you lose inspiration. And if you're not inspired, you need to find some inspiration. And so the best thing to do is to go adjacent and go outside of it. If you see what I mean. But yeah, I'm a terrible person to ask because, like I said, this is my full-time job. I don't I don't just do this for free. You know? But thank you very much for the $100 super chat there. Name is long enough not to be annoying. I spent the day painting my world. It is probably just need to get my hands on a defiler. Yes. Yes, I think everybody needs to get their hands on a defiler. Defilers are available now. Tell you what I found on... I found it last night on... It's kind of Defiler related, but it's not Defiler related. I found on Firestorm Games, affiliate link below. If anybody missed out on the, I think it was called the Sons of Dawn Battalion box, the one that had 2 Repulsor Executioners and 2 Dreadnoughts in it. If you missed out on pre-ordering that, but you really wanted it, Firestorm Games has currently got a couple of them in stock. And I myself really wanted to buy one, and then I was like, nope, be strong, do not spend the money, you'll never find time to paint it. And then I was like, but it would be good to own 2 Repulsor Executioners. I was like, nope, stop it, don't have the money, don't do it, stop it. So yeah, but if anyone missed out on that box, Firestorm Games currently has it, if you want it. It wouldn't shock me either if in a couple of weeks' time they have a couple of the Astra Militarum vehicle boxes. If you missed out on that as well, but that I don't know for sure yet. We'll know once they go live. As an in-store purchase. Hey dude, hope you're well. After the brush snap the other evening, you sold the brushes to me. Which would you recommend I get? Using the affiliated link, of course, and the code. Don't forget, you can get yourself a discount if you use the code Warhipster. Would you get the box set or individual? So here's my thinking, right? The box set is probably best in terms of value for money because you get 5 brushes instead of the 2 or 3 that you may want. That being said, you get even more value out of it if you're somebody who likes round dry brushes. I need to learn how to use them and get better with them. So I'm going to try and do that in the coming weeks and months. But in that box set you get, it's 3. You get the Lil Devil, the Pixie, the Angel. Do you get the Princess as well? Can't remember. Ruby brushes. Oh yeah, you get 4. So you get the Princess, the Angel, the Pixie, the Little Devil, and then you get the Kitten and the Queen as well, the 2 dry brushes. Just as a set, you're saving money by buying all of them. You get more value if you really like if you like round dry brushes as well. But like I said, for me, it's a skill issue. It's not that they're bad brushes, it's a skill issue. I'm just not very good with round dry brushes. We have sarcastic Josh. Love it. What did I say? Cathay, Eisen, Easterling, Ministerius. Take your pick. It's a roulette wheel of priorities. I like that. Hello, Pip242. My defiler is done! But Gamer's Grass have stopped doing the orange and pink tufts that I used for my EC bases. Ah. That's, Have you checked from them direct? Because they might have them still direct. It's just... Their whole thing's really weird, man. It's like... I really like Gamer's Grass tufts. They are my preferred tufts out of everything that I've ever used, right? But, like, the provisioning they give to their stockists versus what they sell online by themselves is radically different at times. And then it aligns, and then it goes radically different again. It's really strange. It's an odd business model. So, like, I'd never seen, I think they're called Autumn. The Autumn Tufts before. But then I saw them on the website and I was like, well, I must have them. Because they're gorgeous. And then there's also, like, for some of the, like the 4 mils or the 2 mils, there's, like, hey, you can get 4 mil version of it, or you can get 4 mil spiky. And it's like, man. Oh, I was just thinking, actually, I could use Apothecary White for the things on this banner. We don't use it very often, but that would really work. Cool. Crisis averted. Crisis of confidence averted. The box set has 4+2 dry brushes. Yes, they were not on their website. Oh. Right, yeah. Well, that's lame then. One of the cheeky things you can do is look up, because I do this from time to time, is look up their range of stockists and pick the smallest possible, stockist. So, like, if it's, say, for example, like the Bromsgrove Hobby Shop, for example. They might have them in their shop because they don't sell through them, as it were. That's another way to find stuff. Which is a top 10 tip for you if ever you're trying to find something that's sold out. Is you can use the Games Workshop website to find a local Games Workshop or an independent stockist. And then you can check their website for them. I am pooped. Warhipster, please could you check my chorfs on Discord? Are they battle ready? Where have you put them in the Discord? Have you put them in show off your stuff? Yes, you have. Would you count these as battle ready? Absolutely, I would count those as battle ready. They look battle ready to me. For sure. You've even done the bases. Yeah, man, those are battle ready. Absolutely. They look good as well. Cheers. I've only ever used the Citadel dry brushes as well, but I'm sure we can adjust. Yeah, I mean, for what I usually do with dry brushing, and like an exception to that rule would have been would actually have recently have been a L'Ariel. But what I usually do with dry brushing is I use it as a highlight, and so for me personally, using a round-headed dry brush is more difficult for just doing for highlighting. But like I said, the exception to that for me has been the recent painting of Ilaria, where we did a lot of circular motion dry brush, and that's where the round-headed dry brushes really shine as their thing. So like, I think like I said, I really want to get good at using round-headed dry brushes because they are nice. But at the moment, I'm just bad with them. So it is not a comment on anybody's round-headed dry brushes. It's just a comment on my own skill issue. And I'm not too proud to admit that. You know? Everybody has gaps. And mine is using a round brush. Hilariously. Right, I'll be pleased if we can get all the shading on before stream ends. We should be able to, because it's only 20 to 7 now, but we're only halfway. So much Nullen oil. Ba 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 da ba ba da ba ba da. Ba da ba da ba da ba da ba da da ba da da. It's a good job I ordered a backup pot of this, actually. We've used so much of it in the last 2 weeks. That should hopefully come this week. Do you save your live streams? Where can I watch them? Yeah, they're all on. They're all on. If you go onto the channel homepage, the channel homepage has them in under the live tab, so you can go back and watch almost every live stream we've ever done. There are some that I've taken off because I've used the content for something else, or I think that's only the reason why. Tell you what, Commissar Graves needs to have less friends. This is far too many people. Buh. Buh. I got the Flowers core set from them. Yeah, I did a big order from them not too long ago. I might do another one at some point, because I always think, like, I should just, like, the thing with the funny thing with Tufts is it's like, I'm always like, right, I need to get through all of these before I buy any more. But then I forget. So then I'm like, oh god, we've got Insert X coming up soon. I need Tufts for that. So then I'll be like, right, I'll get some, you know, tiny dry greens. And then I realize I've got 3 or 4 packets of tiny dry green, and I'll be like, right, that's it. No more ordering tiny dry green. And then they'll release some model or something that goes into one of my previous armies where I used the tiny dry green on them. And that'll be the one time where I go, oh no, I've only got like 3 tufts left of tiny dry green. So then I have to chop up like some 2mm dry green in order to keep it all consistent. And that, my friends, is called a first world problem. And it's the most boring story I've ever told. Well, actually, that's not true, but there we go. Alright. One more heavy stubber. And then we need to wait for the Nuln Oil to dry for a bit before we can throw on some Reichland Flesh Shade. Thanks for the great tutorials. I have done Sanguinius, Dawn, Magnus, Alpharius, and Khan so far. Got Lion and Horus primed, ready to go. Nice! That means I probably need to pull my finger out and find the time to do Mortari and Perturabo and Guilliman, right? Because I've got all 3 of them. Mortarion is primed, and I did start him, actually. Just hasn't been any good opportunities to sit and paint some Primarchs, you know. Perturabo has been cleaned, and he is ready for building, and Guilliman is half built. Guilliman ended up hurting my brain when it came to building his building him, because he's one of the older Primarch kits, so he doesn't actually have good instructions. He's got really bad instructions. It's one of those old Horus Heresy kits where it's like, here's all the pieces that you should have. Mash them together and it'll look like this. And you go, okay, cool. But where does this bit go? And they go, I don't know. So then you look at the pictures on the website, and on the pictures on the website, they've got the thing glued in a completely different place to where the instructions are telling you it should go. And it's like, right. Cool. I seem to recall that Sanguinius was like that with his pistol. His pistol doesn't have anywhere that it goes, but it does go in this one place, but on the website it goes in another place. And there was another one that was like that as well. Might have been Horus. I can't remember. I did them so long ago. It's crazy to think it's been that many years. And I gave away that Horus in a raffle. Which we may well have to do another one of. Although I did come up with a solution for the transporting of a lot of models. in that we're probably just going to get... I'm probably just going to get like 3 or 4 18-litre XL boxes from really useful boxes. And then just do it in stages. Hopefully when we move, we'll move it into a place where I've already built all the cabinets and the bookcases for things to go on. So we just move in, take 4 boxes worth, unpack it, close the door, come back and do it the other way. So I think that's probably the solution here, rather than trying to do it all at once, because I don't want to end up with like hundreds of leftover boxes, you know, because there are many thousands of miniatures to transport. Is storage much of a problem for you with the amount of stuff you have and with Games Workshop sending you stuff often? Oh yes, storage is a big problem. Hence why we do need to do a bit of a cardboard sale, a car boot sale. We do need to do a bit of a let's just get rid of some stuff. If I primed 4 Kelpies now, could I paint them in 30 minutes? Absolutely you can, yes. Do you put your brush covers on your brushes, and do yours also turn invisible for random periods of time? The brush covers, I don't put them on, no. Once they're off, they're off. TR Trading UK has one pink one on eBay. There you go. Found it. Spending £40 on bits of tufts is harder than on grey shame, and I'll actually use them. Yeah, I know, right? I always have that when it comes to like purchasing of tufts or basing bits or even like primer cans and stuff. I mean, I've slowly kind of moved away from that, as it were, because I still buy models, but I don't buy many models now. I buy a lot more. I mean, I'm constantly spending money on primer cans, paints, glue, all that stuff. Tufts, basing material, mediums, paintbrushes as well. Although Ruby did send me this set of Ruby brushes that I've been working with, so that was really nice. That's been a big relief. So I haven't had to buy any brushes for a month, which is good. Actually, I tell a complete lie. I did buy some some small dry brushes. Painting Bugman's glow on these 8-bound is getting tedious. Oh, I'm sorry, man. How many are you doing at once? Six. Might I recommend that you reduce that to 3 if you can? It helps with the batch painting. How much of GW's Gracia supply have you single-handedly gone through? We could probably calculate that. Let's have a look. Models completed. So we've done 238 this year so far. We did 600 last year, so that's 838. We did... No, wait, hold on. That's the one. 838. We did 600 the year before, so that's 1438. And we did 500 the year before that, so that's 1938. And I did on 2022 as well. And that's 1938, so that's 2,470 85. 2,000, yeah, so 2,500 models. If you account for Wraithbone and all that kind of thing also being in there, you could probably call it as roughly, I've probably painted roughly about 1,500, maybe 1,750 models with Gracie rattle cans. And if you assume on average, which is a pretty decent average, of about 60 models per can, you would do 1,500 divided by 60, basically. 1,500 divided by 60 is 25. So yeah, 25 Gracie rattle cans. Obviously that's back of a packet, as it were. I don't know, I'd say I've probably bought like 30 rattle cans, 30, 40 rattle cans over the years. It's a lot of Gracie. That is a lot of Gracie. But I know that in terms of like the pot, I've only ever bought like 3 or 4 of them. So I don't get through it very often. Ooh. Right. Reichland Fleshshade. Where have you gone? Where are you? Where is it? There it is. I have 5 pots of Storm Vermin fur because I went through a stage of constantly reminding myself that I needed to buy it every time I bought paint, but I also forgot that I'd done it the last time. Oh, I've been through that. I did that with what did I do? I did that with Hoeth Blue. I have 4 pots of Hoeth Blue. Yeah, it's a lot. Also, congrats on the 100k subs, and seeing you getting featured on Warhammer Community often is cool. Oh, thank you very much. Yeah, it's been a journey. Our next long-term goal is naturally 200,000, but we are so far away from that. I'm not even talking about it or thinking about it. Let's go with POW. And with all of that Nuln Oil applied, we are then going to take some Reichland Fleshshade, and we're going to apply this over the top of all of the gold. Boom. I'd say the paint I have probably bought the most in my life is Black Legion at this point. Because it is very rare when there is a model that comes out that it doesn't have some form of Black Legion on it. And then it's probably Iron Warriors, actually, to be fair. Tyrant Skull. Again, I don't get through many Tyrant Skull. I know I use it all the time, but like you don't get through a lot of it. Tyrant Skull would be probably, again, throughout my life, it would be like 3 or 4, maybe 5 pots of that. But yeah, you only just use a little bit of it to do dry brushing on the base, and that is all I use it for. I don't use it for anything else. So yeah, whilst it does feature in almost every model that I ever do, it doesn't get used very quickly because you don't use very much of it as you go. What's the pot of paint that you guys have bought the most, do you think? Like, what's your go-to? Like, what's the thing that you use in every single model that you paint? It's probably a metallic, if you stick to a certain brand. Because I've used a lot of Retributor armor as well, but you don't always use Retributor armor, that's the thing. Whereas, like, so many things in Warhammer have got silver on them. But not everything has gold. I remember when I first came back to the hobby after some time out as an adult, which really kind of was the sort of beginning of where we're at now. But when I first came back then, I remember being like, I need a gold paint, but everything I see on the internet tells me to use Balthazar gold, but that's not really gold, is it? And then being like, have no fear, stranger we've never heard of. Because we now have Retributor armor. Look at how gold that is. And I was like, now that's a gold. Sign me up. Black Legion, most likely Retributor armor or Runelord brass. Yeah, decayed metal from scale 75, makes sense. Black Legion, one pot burst open in the heat and emptied itself. One got tipped over by the cat, and one I just managed to turn upside down as I was emptying it. Also, probably the worst paint to spill. I haven't had the misfortune of doing that yet. Yeah, but when I need Iron Warrior something, sometimes I'm too lazy to reach or search and grab a Lead Belcher or Iron Hands or Iron Breaker. Yeah, that's fair. I wish Lead Belcher was just like 5% darker. Not much, just a little bit darker. Because if it was a little bit darker, Nuln Oil would just be so good over the top of it. But sometimes I think unless you not overload it, but unless you use a fair whack of Nuln Oil, sometimes, at least in my experience, that Lead Belcher doesn't tend to like enjoy Nuln Oil too much. It's really good with like Drakenhof Nightshade or whatever, but like Nuln Oil for some reason, at least the reformulated Nuln Oil, doesn't give as dark an effect as I like, which is why I really like Iron Warriors more so than Lead Belcher. I think that's because I quite like sort of high contrast metallics. I like quite a shiny edge on things, which I know not necessarily everybody does, but I like the silver highlights to be like razor sharp, which is why Iron Warriors is just so good for me. Do you use any other ranges, Josh? No, not really. I have done. I've used Express Color. I've used Speed Paint. I haven't properly tried Tooth and Coats yet. But the reason being is that when you open one of my videos, you know that all the paint is going to be from one place, and it's going to be from Games Workshop, so it's the most sort of new hobbyist friendly way of doing it. I talked about this before, but it's from my own lived experience of that time I was telling you about with Balthazar Gold. When I returned to the hobby, that was when I finally realized that you could get some assistance on how to do things by looking at videos on the internet. But every video I googled on the internet, it would be like, and I've said this before, but it would be, you know, and what I was specifically looking for was how to paint a Ultramarines tank. And I was looking up how to paint an Ultramarines tank, and every video was like, pull out your airbrush. And I was like, I don't have one of those. So it'd be like, how to paint an Ultramarines tank using a brush. So then a video comes up, and it'd be like, using a brush. So you open it up, and it says, in this video, we're going to do all of this using a brush. But before we do that, we're going to airbrush on some blue from scale 75, and then we're going to do it. And it's like, okay, but like none of this is stuff that I have or want or need. And so on and so forth. So that's the point, is you open one of my videos, you'll know where all the paint's from. That's why. That being said, what I would like to do, and I've said this multiple times, I would love to do stuff without like stuff with other brands, but I would like to have the time to do it, and I would like to have the not be reliant on like, for example, it would be nice to do, you know, we did the contrast versus classic for Blood Angels, but it would be nice to do Vallejo Express Color plus Blood Angels. And so you know everything in there is going to be from Vallejo. So it's Vallejo Express Colors and Vallejo Highlights and Vallejo Layers and Vallejo Metallics is all going to be used in that one video. So it'd be really nice to do that. It's just, again, I just don't have the time. You just need the time and the money to do it. But at the moment, I don't have the time or the money to do it. But eventually we will get to doing that. Because eventually, surely we're going to reach saturation, but I'll still want to be able to do, like, Blood Angels videos or something. I don't know. We'll have to see. And the same goes for, like, speed paint. It'd be the same thing to do, because I'd like to give a go for the Fanatic range. But what I'm just conscious of not doing in the videos is, next up we're going to use some Blood Angels Red. Now we're going to highlight it with Red Fire from Monument 32, you know, because then it's like, oh, I don't have that one. And I don't want to make you guys spend money. I really don't. Oh, I think what I would like to do is I'd like to do some videos where we go to like a local hobby shop and get everything that we need to do one thing from that hobby shop, as it were. But it's like, hey, if you're based in like Bridgend, here's how you can do this model like this. You see what I mean? That I think that would be a really cool series of videos to do. You know? Well, what do we need? So I think the sensible thing at this juncture is probably not to start highlighting, because they're all just going to be drying for a while now. But what I will do is I will walk you through my process now of figuring out highlights. I already know what I'm going to be doing, but so at the moment what we have, for example, here is Commissar Graves. So now we know how many steps there are left to go on Commissar Graves, okay? So what we have is we've got silver, we've got gold, we've got black, we've got red, and we've got brown, and we've got flesh as well, and we've got some white up here. Now, we don't need, at least in my opinion, we don't need to highlight the trousers, and we don't need to highlight the belt either. I think they're absolutely fine the way they are. They don't need anything extra. But the coat we do need to highlight. So for all of their clothes, we're going to do exactly what we did on Commissar Yarrick, because it's consistency, right? So we're going to use Skaven Blight Dinge, and then we're going to use Storm Vermin Fur wherever that's gone. It should be here somewhere. Yes. So Storm Vermin Fur for the coat. And all of that, and that will go for the same for the fatigues on these guys, and we'll also actually do it on their trousers as well. Then for their boots and like the shiny leather and things, we need that to be slightly bluer. So what we're going to do is we're going to use Thunderhawk Blue and Fenrisian Grey for that. So that's for the shinier leather, right? So it creates two distinct different looking black details. So these, in this case, the boots will be the blue, as will the peak of the cap here as well at the top. We'll also do this over top of the casing of the bolt pistol as well, because it just makes sense to do that. So that's all of the black details covered. That's the trousers covered. Then, to highlight the metallics, naturally, of course, we're going to use Ironbreaker for the silver. We're going to use Liberator Gold for the gold. So that's 6 steps left to go on all of this stuff. What we will require is we will require some Black Legion, because we're going to have to do some eyeballs. So Black Legion. And we're going to require some Screaming Skull, because we're obviously doing eyeballs. Wherever Screaming Skull is, there it is. And then for the face, I think we'll probably just need Flayed One flesh. There is an outside chance that we might need some Kislev flesh as well, but I don't know just yet. We'll have to see as we go along. We're going to use Evil Sun Scarlet to highlight the red. And we're also going to use Fire Dragon Bright for the spot highlights on the red as well. But that should be almost everything, excluding some Corax White to highlight the fur on her jacket. And then the only other thing we'll need is we'll need some Frostheart, probably, to do the eye lens on the right hand and on the masks of the guys as well. But that will be everything that we will need to finish off Commissar Graves, presumably. If we need to, we can use a little bit of Warp Stone Glow on the cables, because I've done the cables in green. So you can see that green cable just there, but we probably don't need it. So in order to finish them, we've got 4, 8, 12, 13, 14. So there's 14 steps left to go on all of them. And then the banner is a case of, like we were talking about it earlier, Agrax Earthshade, Nazdrag yellow, not Yandan yellow. We need Nazdrag yellow wherever that's gone. Should be here. Where are you? No, let's get them in flush. Nazdrag yellow. And then because it's consistent with the tank, we're going to use Mephiston red for the red. And we're going to use Apothecary white for the parchmenty bits on the banner. And we're going to use Nuln Oil wherever that's gone. Nuln Oil for the wings, or we might swap those two things around. We will need Corax White in order to highlight them. We will need Evil Suns to highlight them. And we'll probably need some Ushabti Bone to highlight the Nazdrag Yellow. But that's it. That's everything that's left to go. Oh, and some Black Legion, actually, for the checkerboard that's on there. So there we go. That's all we've got left. It's a lot, but I do this once I hit the battle ready stage. I do this so that I know how many steps are left to go, and then obviously you can start sort of clumping things together in order to make it feel more manageable, which it generally does. Like as soon as you've done the faces, you've used 3 of the paints, so they're immediately out. You see what I mean? Once you've done all the boots, you've done 2 of them are out. Once you've done all the jackets, 2 of them are out. So already at that point, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 are gone, and then it's just like some red highlights here and there around the trim, and this, that, and the other. And like Frostheart is in there because we've used it on the truck, so we'll use it on the island, so it's consistent across the 2 rather than using a brand new paint there, if can be helped. And like Warpstone glows there as a possible. We might not necessarily need it. That's it. So now we know. Then we'll be done. Then I can finally move on to some other things. I use speed paint and just find the closest colour to what you use from GW extra ship, but not a huge deal. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. That is more than fine. More than fine. As a confident hobbyist, that's what I would encourage. But I would never force that on people. Like, I've used this. You figure out whatever you'd use it from your range, though. Do you know what I mean? I'm going to tidy up a bit whilst we're talking. Boom. Currently managing to get by with just 186 different GW paints. I'm just about scraping by with that amount as well. I actually think I've got a few more than that. Well, I've got, that'd be 72s, 144, 216. Like I said, I don't use them all of the time. Tidying up from the last few weeks of lots of varied tutorials and lots of great videos on the way. For those who are perhaps curious or don't know or don't follow me on Instagram, you will have already seen, if you do follow me on Instagram though, that Intransia Fray is finished. So that's a video that's coming to you this week. So Transient Fray is on the way, as is Inquisitor Croyle. Those are both videos that are on the way. As will Commissar Graves, presumably once I finish it, either tonight or tomorrow. We've got the Army of the Dead and the Grey Company as well. They will be making their way to the YouTube channel in the next not too distant future. So I will be editing that this week. There's Tyrant Skull. You don't go on the shelf. You basically have all the GW colours, right? I have a lot of them, yes. I don't have all of them, though. I can tell you the ones I'm missing. That's a shade. That's a contrast. And that's a Vulcan green. The ones I do not have, I can tell you, are... because I've never really had to use them. Inventory, and we want inventory filtered by base and layer, dry and technical and spray. So I don't have I'm scrolling. Ah, right. Yes, I see. I was on the wrong thing. So I don't have Asterath Red, Auric Armor Gold. I do not have Deathguard Green Spray. I don't have Deathworld Forest. I don't have Doomball Brown. I don't have... actually, I do have Elysian Green now. Yeah, I did buy that the other day. That's 5. I don't have Gehenna's Gold, or Golden Griffin, or Golgfag Brown. I don't have Hexos... no, I do have Hexos Pale Sun. Again, bought that the other day. I don't have Hoeth Blue Dry. I don't have Imric Blue. I don't have... I don't have a good pot. I do have Longbeard Grey. I do. I don't have Lucius Lilac. I do have that. I don't have Martian Ironcrust or Iron Earth. I don't use them. I don't have Niblet Green. I don't have Nurgling Green Dry. I don't have Ratskin Flesh. Or Riser Rust. Or Skink Blue. Or Stormfang. Or Sylvaneth Bark. Or Terminatus Stone. Underhive Ash. I don't have Waystone Green. I don't have Rack White. And I do have Xandridus Spray now. Are you counting Graves as 1 miniature on your counter? Or 6 with her crew? Because 6 would be cheating. Well, actually, Graves is 2 miniatures. Because this is a separate miniature. So yes, it is 2. But I would defer to you guys. What would you count it as? Would you count it as 7 miniatures, or would you count it as just 2? ABCD F G H I J K L M N. Queenie Green Chick goes there. Balred. Hey, Jai. Flesh. Ayandon. Dark Angels. Nope, that doesn't go there. That goes there. Because Cygor Brown goes there. Gryph-hound Orange. In you go. Come on down. You'd count it as 7, Ed. I will happily defer on this case. Elemental PQR, yes. HOJK. Skeleton Horde goes there. Black Templar goes there. Cygor Brown goes there. And Gilliman Flesh goes there. Blood Angels Red goes there. Frostheart goes there. Excellent. Steel Legion Drab. You go over here. Grey Seer. You go there. Lead Belcher. You go there. Zandri Dust. You go there. And Retributor Armor. You're over here. Screamer Pink. In there. Still only counts as 1. Wraithbone. W and X, Y, and Z. Yes. Mournfang. In you go. Oh no, Mephiston Red goes there. Mournfang goes there. Yes. Iron Warriors. Balthazar Gold. Let's put Albaland in first, and then Balthazar Gold. I've had a wit round. We'll allow 2 for the counter. If you counted 7, I'd question the legitimacy of your entire counter. So, well, I haven't put them on yet because they're not done. But this should take me to 240. Stracken Green. We'll do that in a minute. Canoptech Alloy. In you go. Pinkaras. Scrag Brown. Carrack Stone. In you go. Pallid Witch Flush is there. Ogren Camo's there. Pink Horror goes in after Phalanx Yellow. Deepkin Flesh. In you go. Sycorax Bronze. You're down there. Runelord Brass. You live there. Uriel Yellow. You're in there. And Baharoth Blue. You live around the corner. Just there. Dark Reaper. Dawnstone. Admin Grey. Scrag Brown and Stracken Green. Scrag Brown goes in there. Stracken Green goes down there. Yeah. Boom. Cool. If it was Lehman Russ with Commander, would you count it as 1.5 because his lower half doesn't exist? I would count it as just one model, yeah. Because it's just one model. Right. Well, we've had a tidy up. We've battle readied the crew. The truck is done. This is where we're at. So the truck. I really like the truck. I think the truck's cool. So the truck's done, and the crew are battle ready. So that's how far we are. It's not bad, is it? I know we only did Gold, Null Oil, and Reichland Fleshade, but that is the biggest time sink. Because I really, really, really want to finish off these guys. I really want to get them done. Because we've done... half a unit of Kassakin. And I'm really pleased with them. And we've got 5 more to do. Including a camo cloak that I'm really happy with. Look at that camo cloak. How good does that look? But yeah. So I want to get them finished. At some point. But I have to figure it out. Lots to do and not very much time to do it in. So on that note, ladies and gentlemen, it is 7:30. We are going to wrap things up there for the day. Thank you so much for the super chats. Thank you so much for the gifted memberships. Name is long enough to not be annoying. You're fantastic, wonderful people. Thank you for hanging out with me tonight. What are we going to be doing this week? Well, we've got video coming tomorrow. We've got video coming on Thursday, and we've got a video coming on Friday as well. We should be live on Wednesday as well. We're going to try and do live on Wednesday, but we'll have to see how the week goes because, yeah, it's all time dependent, isn't it, really, at the end of the day. So, yeah, we will see you later, I guess. Thanks for hanging out, and be on the lookout for lots of Contrast Plus content on the way. Love you guys. Bye.